What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Out of the Gate one more time here on this Monday. After the Breeders' Cup, we get into the month of November. We got some stakes racing action coming up towards the end of the month here in November. I found the smallest shirt I have in my closet here this afternoon as we get set for some live racing action. But before we get into the handicapping of some of the races on today's card, as always, let's take a look at some of last week's winners. It's the Parks Playback.
Parks Playback time, here we go. Monday action, it was Halloween, and it wasn't candy early, it was no salt. Scott Volk and Paco Lopez, who had a big Monday, they team up and get the victory. Then it was Brody Slam from just off the pace, Gabriel Ramos teaming up with Eli Betancourt, and they got a nice score. Fox Red continues a huge day for jockey Paco Lopez. He had a riding triple, 5 on the week. Josue Arce, first off the claim and right to the winner's circle. Tuesday time. This barn is rolling right now. Lou Linder Jr. sending out without a view in the opener. Dexter Haddock aboard, gutting out the game victory. Jump shot. Halim Lee, he continues his winning ways. Sylvester Gonzalez, he had a big Tuesday. They team up and get the win. Mega Charlie, second time here at Parks. Trainer Bobby Moscow, and there's that man again, Sylvester Gonzalez. He had a riding triple on Tuesday. Wednesday time, Sugar Street getting out journeyman Andy Hernandez teaming up with Patricia Farrell. They get the nice victory and take them all the way. Dr. Doom, trainer John Service, he paired up with Jonathan Ocasio. They've been winning at a high rate, and Dr. Doom got the victory. Then it was Hidden Cash, a big favorite, got the maiden score. Jerome Barbosa for James Lawrence II. They get the nice victory. Have a great week.
Some really impressive performances that you did see here last week during our live racing here at Parks. We got some stakes racing coming your way. Wednesday, November 23rd, the Turkey Trot, the Let's Give Thanks, and the Cornucopia. And then, of course, on Tuesday, November 29th, we have the PA Nursery, as we always do have here, $200,000, 2-year-olds. And then the Future Stars Handicap, 2-year-olds going to go the 6.5 furlongs with $75,000, and the Future Stars Handicap for the 2-year-old fillies. So maybe some of those horses that you just saw during the Parks Playback will be running here at Parks on that Wednesday and Tuesday as we get towards the end of the month here in November. The year is almost coming to an end already. Let's get into today's card here. Race number 1, 6 furlongs, 12.5, claiming race in here. It's a nice competitive race. I think Rainbow Trout kind of sits the right trip. I think there's some speed towards the outside. Vanishing Faith, the 6. Debbie Surprise could be interesting. She Talks Too Much is probably going to take some action here. She's the 7. She's a deep closer. I think Rainbow Trout gets the jump. Slight class drop as well. Michael Sanchez will be aboard. Let's see if we can catch a number there in the opener. Race number 2, we're going to go to 1 mile and 70 yards. The distance, a starter race in there. Competitive race when you take a look at Obstinate. Kind of interested to see where the money's going to go. Is Obstinate going to be a heavy favorite like she was last time? She really performed quite well. The 5-year-old mare by Tiz Now. You see R. Tenderoni. She's probably going to take some wagering in here as far as favoritism. We'll see. She's 5-2 on the morning line. I think Miss Loyalty runs a better race. I like the 7-5 exacta in here. I think Jeremy Laprida, now being aboard for the first time, maybe he puts her into the race a little bit more, or a little sooner, I should say, into that first turn. But competitive field in that second race early on in the card with those competitive campaigners there at that starter allowance level. We'll be right back, talk about some more races. We'll have some great things coming up later on the show. But here is a quick word about what we got going on here at Parks.
Now available, an enhanced Parks Racing mobile app. The improved Parks mobile app will feature biometric login through fingerprint or face ID. View wagering information before building your wager. Customizable viewing options. Hands betting and transaction history. Helpful tips. And much more. The enhanced Parks mobile app, now available.
Taking a look at race number 4 in here, going to go towards the far outside. This is before scratches and changes, so if there are any changes, obviously I'll have those for you here in just a moment. But We Ready had shown some pretty good moves in the last few starts, had been running at Monmouth, came over here to Parks, a decent third place finish, beaten 2 1/4 lengths. Now you get Jose Gomez, you get the weight break here with the Apprentice aboard. I like the 9, We Ready. I like the outside draw as well in that spot. Going to jump around a little bit in here because we got to keep moving through these races, but a nice carryover jackpot in the Philly Big 5. It's now over $239,000, $239,489.90. Looking forward to the start of that sequence, and it should be a nice sequence there with a maiden special weight for the state breds. You take a look at the Pennsylvania breds, some of the stakes races that we just talked about, the Future Stars handicap in later this month in November. Back to the Future and Marion Grace. I'm going to go back to these connections in here. Uptown Charlie Brown, the sire of both of the runners, Marion Grace, she had the blinkers on. She took a lot of money last time out. Now she puts the blinkers on. I just am not sure what to think from that effort last time. She just didn't show quite the same kick that we saw in her first two efforts, especially her debut run, which was a nice run in a stakes race behind Florida Sombra. Back to the Future seems to be running some consistent races where she's just right on the cusp of getting that maiden victory. She's got the 3 career starts. She's never been worse than third. She's going to be 5-2 on the morning line. We'll see what the value is in there, but I like the one Back to the Future there. From the inside, we'll see if she gets the right trip and gets to the winner's circle there in today's 6th race. Speaking of Uptown Charlie Brown stud, we did get to catch up with one of their runners who is actually now into retirement. It's one of those stories we wanted to share here with some of the campaigners that you've seen over time right here at Parks, and when their careers are done. And where do they go? What do they do? And Bob Hutt, Uptown Charlie Brown, Ed Coletti Jr., they talk about Midtown Charlie Brown and his retirement. It happened very recently here, so here's more about Midtown Charlie Brown.
In 2009, my best friend, late best friend, trainer Alan Seawald, we bought Uptown Charlie Brown for $57,000. And before he ever had his first workout, he called me late one evening to say, "Bobby, you're sitting down," which I was. And he told me the Chestnut, that's all he ever called him, is the best horse you've ever owned. And he said, "Whatever you do, don't tell the investors, partners in our group, Uptown Charlie Brown Stud, what I said." I said, "Alan, I won't do that," and immediately sent out an email blast to all the partners, come one, come all, to see the second coming of Secretariat, the Red Chestnut.
Bob Hutt, who manages the ownership group, spoke about one of their top horses.
One of the first he ever produced was Midtown Charlie Brown, who came out of a mare who raced twice and lost 2 races at the lowest claiming level by about a combined 50 lengths.
Midtown Charlie Brown was from an early crop for their Pennsylvania stallion.
As a 3-year-old, Midtown Charlie Brown burst upon the scene and won several stakes, and he was later followed by his brother from the same mare, and that was Midnight Charlie, and he won stakes. He won the Banjo Picker 2 years in a row, and his brother was second. Midnight Charlie, some great moments, and he's absolutely beloved.
Winning races can mean so much to so many.
It's like walking on air. You don't even know how you get into the winner's circle, and if anybody has never had an opportunity to own a horse, when you take that first trip into the winner's circle, it's magical. And I've been blessed that I've done it many, many times in my life. And every time I walk in, I don't take anything for granted. It feels like the first time. Midtown is the one who started it rolling, so there's a special place in our heart. He's won a little less than $600,000 to date, the hard way, mostly all in restricted races in Pennsylvania.
There comes a time in a horse's career that it's best to retire. And Midtown Charlie Brown leaves the track as a champion.
He is just a fantastic horse to be around, very, very pleasant. If he does go to turning for home, he's going to make somebody a hell of a riding horse. Most of the Uptown Charlie Browns are now stakes placed in event jumping, which we had no idea, but when we retire them, I've gotten calls from people that have given them home saying, "Send us your Uptown Charlie Browns." And the main thing is he's walking away healthy. He's just given us such joy. He's such a brave warrior, and we can't thank him enough for all the thrilling times we've had. And I've heard from so many of our partners that understand when a horse does right by you like he's done, he deserves to live the next 20 years of his life healthy and happy.
Watching a horse's last race can be emotional, inspiring, and the true passion in horse racing.
That was a bittersweet moment, and I think you understood what happened as he was coming down the stretch. He was in a position that He could have made a patented move, a late charge, but he didn't. And as he was coming down the stretch, one of the few times I was standing next to my trainer, Ed Cleddy Jr., who I have to give all the praise in the world. He developed him, he made him, and has always done right by all our Uptown Charlie Brown horses. And as he was coming down to the finish line, the last eighth of a mile, I just smiled and I said, Eddie, he's done. He's retired.
They give it their all on the racetrack, and Midtowncharlybrown was a true example.
We want him to retire healthy and happy. And when I did the video of him being unsaddled in the paddock, and it was very emotional because I knew it was going to be the last time. We just love him.
If you get a chance to visit Midtowncharlybrown, the team at Uptown Charlie Brown Stud know just what treat you should have with you.
If I told you, you won't believe me. He loves brown, mushy bananas. That is his favorite treat in the entire world. And the way we found out, last winter he was down with Irene Coletti, who bred him, and she was playing with him. And then she brought out these mushy brown bananas. And I was shocked. And he just absolutely loves them. And ever since he's been back here, he works for bananas. That's his favorite treat in the entire world. Strange, but true.
Whether it's the Breeders' Cup, whether it's Parks, whether it's a racetrack near you, wherever you are across the country, the horses mean a lot to a lot of folks. And going off into retirement, as we've seen some of the big stories, right? Horses going to retirement. Well, there's one right here at Parks with quite a few others. They always can go to Turning for Home or to the breeding shed, but we'll find out. But Midtowncharlybrown, good on you. Good luck to you wherever you may go. Hopefully you've got a bigger shirt than I've got here because it's really making me uncomfortable. I feel like I need gym time or something like that after that. Race number 8, 6.5 furlongs is the distance in here. $15,000 open claiming event. We just had to bring the show back. Very emotional. We know we like it. All right, Mystic Lincoln here. You see Jamie Ness, Ruben Silvera, top connections. They claim this runner, go to the optional 16, fourth beaten 9.5. Now they drop in class here to the 15,000. Really not too big of a drop in class, right? Open $15,000 claiming race, comes from Delaware, cut back in distance. We've just seen the connections win too much at this level and this type of move. So I'll be on the 3 Mystic Link there in race number 9, or excuse me, race number 8. Race number 9 is a fantastic race. 1 mile allowance race. I mean, there's some stakes type horses in here. You look at this race, Sugar Ray 2, I mean, they were talking about possibly the Breeders' Cup Marathon. Remember that when we caught up with trainer Tyler Service. So he's going to be my top choice. I think he gets the right trip in here. Yes, it's going to be a shorter distance of a mile, but he's been in the exacta every single time he's gone the mile. He's been it 5 times, 3 wins, 2 seconds. So I like the right trip. I think he does get some pace in front of him. We'll see if Sugar Ray 2 can get the score there in race number 9. You're on your own for race number 10 because it's time to take a look at the performance of the week. Butch Reid sending out a lot of 2-year-olds, but this was a special one here last week. It's a Monday here at Parks. Thanks for joining us wherever you are across the country or right here on track. We're going to be back next week with another episode of Out of the Gate, and Jessica Paquette will be joining us very soon here in beautiful Bensalem, Pennsylvania. So really looking forward to that. Don't forget where you can follow us on all of our social media accounts. You check us out on Twitter at In the Grandstand, at Parks Racing. Hit that subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and of course on Instagram. It's Parks_racing. Thanks again to the best TV crew in the business. Enjoy this week of racing as we have a full month of jam-packed stakes racing action right here at Parks towards the end of the month in Bensalem. We'll see you here next week on Out of the Gate.